Now, what asset revesting, the way I see it, is just like if you're on a coastline and there's surfers out floating past the break. What are the surfers doing? They're just floating out there. They're waiting patiently for a new set of waves. Well, asset revesting, I like to try and give a visual of how I see the markets. So I'm like a kiteboarder surfer. I live on the water. I love the water. So a lot of people don't realize I like to look at the stock market like the ocean. So as we know, if a tide is going up, a tide lifts all boats. As the tide's going down, most boats go down with it. The stock market is the same. If we're in a major bull market, most stocks are going to go up. And that's why they're all kind of grouped in as the stocks are one asset class. Now, what asset revesting, the way I see it, is just like if you're on a coastline and there's surfers out floating past the break. What are the surfers doing? They're just floating out there. They're waiting patiently for a new set of waves. And the stock markets, there are lots of moving parts. There's lots of different asset classes among the investment world. If one asset is going down, that money's coming out of that asset and it's going somewhere else. And so what asset revesting is we kind of float there safely, earning interest on the sidelines in cash until we see a beautiful set of waves coming. And then we pick one of those assets that's on our list that has clean momentum. We can see lots of power behind it. We can see a big trend starting, and we jump on and we catch that wave and we ride that trend, because we're more or less a trend following strategy. We find something trending up, we get on it. And the nice thing about a strong wave and seeing the momentum, as you talked about, because momentum is very, very powerful. Once that momentum starts to fade on a wave, you can tell when to carve off a wave and let it curl and crash. That's the nice thing about the stock market. When you find a nice wave of momentum, you can also find out and identify when it's starting to lose speed. So we can start to trim off our profits. We can start to move away and go look for, or wait for another set of assets. And we sit in cash sometimes 30 to 40% of the year, just collecting daily interest until there's another wave. And we don't hold anything going down. We avoid bear markets. In fact, we profit pretty well during market corrections. 2022, the stock market was down. Well, the US dollar had one of the strongest rally years that it's had in decades. So we can just move to a very slow asset class that goes up almost every week while everything else is falling apart. And that's the nice thing about it, is we can just walk around this market and just step into assets that have a nice clean trend. And when times are volatile, we go to something that moves really slow, but we can keep pulling money out. And that's the whole point of asset revesting, is if it's not good, just don't be in it. And that's how we avoid a lot of chaos and a lot of emotions in the market, by not being involved when it's an emotional time.